One, Billy Bob ain't getting down the field to do that, and he
Hey,
ain't
look,
taking.
when
And
he
not
was
taking.
that first game when he was pulling and going full speed, if a man that big is moving that fast, I'm not getting in front of him. You can take the end zone for all I care.
Soundstripe.
Welcome into another episode of Blockbusters, a classic movie podcast where if you're like us and you miss the days of packed movie theaters and movie stores, and this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Caleb Suggs. Joining me are my co-host, Dakota Lowry.
What's up, everybody?
And Artie Ferguson.
I don't want your life.
And this week, boys, there's a chill in the air. It has felt heavenly this week, and you guys know what that means, right?
It's football season.
It's football season.
Which
the most
it's
wonderful time of the year.
It's August in Alabama, and we're going to be playing football in the 80s, maybe and probably even lower than that.
Yeah, and be thankful. Be very thankful. Because I remember 2 years ago, we had to start the game an hour late because it was so hot, and I still don't think it did anything. It was still humid and everything, but... So, yeah, I'm going to be thankful for 80s, hopefully 70s, Friday night.
Yeah, because it was miserable this past Friday. I was in a press box that's all metal with no air, with no breeze whatsoever, and Fat Boy was sweating his tail off.
Yeah, you should be down on the field. Down on the field, it felt nice last Friday.
Yeah, on the field, it was all right, but that means that's closer to where I have to listen to idiots yell from the stands, like Mox's dad and Harbor's dad too, Lance's dad.
Like you can't hear them from y'all's press box is open, is it not?
Yes, but it's like, well, no, I mean it has windows, but again, that's one of those things. Everybody's yelling towards the field, not back at you. So
it's the direction of which they project their voice.
Which again, once I've got out into coaching, I don't like sitting in stands of any game because I didn't like him as a coach, and I definitely don't like him as a spectator. Because idiots of the world
sit
unite
above them because you were above the fans.
No, I just don't want to be a part of them. I won't sit in the stadium just because, watch the fake, run the ball. They run the ball. I told you to throw the ball, and they throw the ball. I told you to run the ball. I'm like,
my favorite. There's always a woman saying, "Hit that quarterback."
Block for him. Come on, line. It doesn't matter if the running back runs the wrong direction. You ain't blocking for him. Kind of like Coach Kilmer talking to Billy Bob.
I've been covering this is now my 10th year covering high school sports. I don't think I've watched one football game from the press box. It's just funny because I'm actually the press.
That's the crazy. So here's, I guess, the big difference between Texas football and Alabama football. My first couple of years coaching, I never went to our varsity's game because I was scouting our next week's opponent, and in your press box, you had places for scouts to come. So we would be there. I looked at a piece of paper and writing down and we're just writing down plays and formations. I hardly ever saw any games, but it was just kind of weird. Like our defensive coordinator was just an interesting guy. But the first thing he would always ask us Saturday morning, he would say, who was the first through the run through sign? And I was like, why in the world is he asking us who's the first through the run through sign? Well, at that point in time, people on game film, people always filmed the run-through sign, and he wanted to see if we were actually there or if we just got our information from the tapes. Because coaches, I know this may be kind of shocking after seeing this movie, they aren't necessarily the most honest at times, and sometimes they splice up films and cut plays out, like long plays that they scored into trick plays or something like that. And so he wanted to make sure that we were there, and so If you didn't know who was first at the run through sign, that means you either didn't go or you were late. And he was just, he was, man. We can go into stories about my first couple of years coaching, where what I did and how much I got paid for what I did, which wasn't very much.
Yeah, well, we ain't got that kind of time. So, anyways, since it's football season, it's my pick. That means obviously we had to do a football movie. Last year we did Friday Night Lights, which also takes place in Texas, and we heard plenty of Ferg's coaching stories from Texas back then. But this year I decided to go with Varsity Blues. I picked this over the program, much to my dad's chagrin. He later told me after listening. But I don't know. I felt like going with this one. I thought which I tried to be. This is how good a friend I am. Ferg always likes to paint me in a bad light, like I'm some really bad friend. But I was trying to think for Dakota, who's obviously not a huge sports fan. He likes football, but still not a huge sports fan. So I was trying to go out of the two, which one I thought he would like more. So I went with this one. I don't know if he would like this one more than the other one, but
I don't know either.
I've never
I did watch the program right after I finished this last night, and so I was like, well, I might as well just go double feature. The program is a little meatheady. That's how Ferg described it.
Yeah. If that tells you anything, Dakota, about that, the program's more meatheaded than this one is.
This was pretty meatheaded.
Yeah, it was.
I think Dakota thinks anything football is meatheaded.
No, not necessarily.
It's kind of barbarian-esque. It's not like ballet out there, so I mean,
it's not like I don't enjoy a good football movie either. I mean, there's several that I've watched and enjoyed.
Yeah,
in the past.
My wife got on to me last night. She was like, "Why didn't you let me watch this with you?" And I'm like, "You never want to watch any of the movies we do with me. Why would I think
you want to watch Varsity Blues?"
And you were like, she was like, "I like football movies," and I'm like, "Since when?" We've been married almost 5 years. I've never heard that you like football movies. So yeah. Anyways, she watched like the last half of this movie and had a certain special connection with Billy Bob for some reason. Every time he got yelled at, she was like, "Oh, bless his heart."
There you go, crying again.
Good Lord.
Ferg, were you a John Voight coach? Crap, what's his name in here? Kilmer?
No.
Were you a Kilmer?
No,
Don't lie.
No, there's two parts of my. No, I wasn't. No, there's two parts of my career. I was a yeller and screamer for like one part of my life, but then I had a player, and he was like 6'4". He was about 275. He was a beast of a kid, and I said, Thomas, I sit there, yell, dance, scream, and all this kind of stuff at you. I said, it does absolutely nothing. He said, Coach, my old man yells at me all the time. I just tune him out. I was like, huh, okay. So I got to, and then also that same defense coordinator, he yelled all the time too. So we never paid attention to him. So it's one of those things, put two together, that I kind of saved my getting ill and irate and yelling for special times where it actually meant something. I learned that a better way is to get really, really close and to get really, really quiet and intense instead. That tends to work better with kids. And then also, after my first wife passed away, I changed from kind of a Kilmer mentality of win, 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 win to trying to produce good men. That there was a definite, distinct change in mind at that point, and my head coaching record probably shows that too. So, but I don't have an issue with that.
Kilmer's a tough character. First of all, he's played very well by John Voight. I like John Voight a lot. I like him in just about everything he's in. But obviously, he's a douchebag. I mean, There's no getting. I mean, the verbally, abusing players like that, and then obviously the injecting painkillers with shots into high school kids' knees is not right. But at the same time, like some of the stuff, like with Mox just not listening to him and wanting to call his own plays, like just because he doesn't disagree with his game plan, like I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I mean, as a player, you don't do that.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
know.
read a book on the sideline either. I don't care if you're not into the football game or not. If your dad is making you play, I mean that's an issue with you and your dad. But if you're out there, you're not reading a book on the sideline.
Oh shoot, he knew he wasn't going to go in the game. So I mean, what was he worried about? I
I
mean, and if
mean,
I'm Kilmer,
He did
why am
go
I
in the
not?
game though eventually, and he didn't know
Well,
the play
yeah,
calls.
but I mean, if I'm Kilmer, why? And one, I don't like the kid. Two, the kid doesn't care. Why is he your backup? That I mean, especially since uh, Lance is about to graduate, so is Mox. So you're telling me you don't have a junior, sophomore, or freshman that you're trying to groom? That's again, you can't tell me a guy's been coaching for 30 years. His backup is a senior. He's got no underclassmen quarterbacks. That guy's a moron. I don't care if he's won 2 state championships. He's a moron.
He's won 22 district championships also.
Yeah, 22 district championships.
And that's all he cares about too.
And de facto 23 because they won this one.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that either. About him not having another backup quarterback. That kind of just registered with me.
It doesn't fit the script, Ernie.
Oh, well, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't fit the script, but that's neither here nor there. But but again, but the needles. My first coaching job, I've seen Doctor Needles.
No, I'm sure you have.
I
don't
again,
look.
I left real quick because that was not comfortable with that either.
I mean, I'm sure this goes on in the NFL and probably college, but that's a little bit different. Those are, especially in the NFL, those are grown adults being paid. And now in college, they're being paid too. So they're old enough to make their own decisions.
Yeah.
But high school kids should not be, it should not even be a temptation. That should not, and I don't think that happens much in high school. It may have back then, but I don't think it does.
Yeah, right now, there's too many cell phones around and things of that nature, and too many people talk. I don't think you can get away with
Plus,
that. As
trainers are, I mean, they're provided by Encore themselves. So if they were caught doing that stuff, that would.
Well, I mean, you usually have if you have some places that are big enough where they have team doctors. That's usually not the trainers that do it. It's usually team doctors which again is even dumber that they would risk anything that they for that too. But well, there are people that are dumb.
Well, I mean, that whole injecting painkillers and stuff was a big part of Any Given Sunday, which is pretty good look into the NFL franchise, and that was a problem in that movie too. So it's not. I mean, I don't recommend it, even if you are. It doesn't seem very smart.
No, I mean they could have just gotten into Tweeter's locker and just gotten something from Tweeter instead of going after the needles.
Well, Varsity Blues is a 1990 American coming-of-age sports comedy drama film directed by Brian Robbins and written by W. Peter Iliff. It stars James Van Der Beek, John Voight, Paul Walker, Ron Lester, and Scott Kahn. In the film, a small-town high school football team deal with the pressures of adolescence, their football-obsessed community, and their authoritarian coach. Varsity Blues was theatrically released in the United States on January 15, 1999 by Paramount Pictures. The film grossed $54.3 million worldwide and received mixed reviews from critics, with praise for its depiction of small-town communities but criticism for its cliches. Varsity Blues has since gone on to become a cult film, inspiring other coming-of-age films and the code name for a 2019 criminal investigation into U.S. college admissions. So, yeah, it's pretty important to talk about the coming of age, because this is right around the time where I feel like you've got a lot of those movies, especially like kind of a... Ernie, what's the movie you did? Or a 1990 film you did? 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah. 10 Things I Hate About You, yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a different type of comedy, but it's all kind of in the same vein. And I feel like around this time period, you got a lot of those movies.
I think this is one of those things. I think this is one of the movies that started to kick the high school movies back off, because you had a lot of the John Hughes stuff in the 80s, but then there was kind of like a backlash to it where it was kind of disappeared a little bit. But I think Varsity Blues, like that, the 98, 99 era, She's All That, 10 Things I Hate About You, just all that kind of stuff, that you start to see those start to pop back up, because I think you have the rise, a bigger rise of a teenage market with teenagers having money in their pockets. And I think that's why, well, also kind of what ties into that is this is an MTV film too. And it was sold and sold and sold on MTV all the time. And MTV at this point in time in 1999 was still very, very important to people,
This was
and
also
you,
when I'm sorry to
no, you
cut
got,
you off. This was also when Vanderbeek was doing Dawson's Creek, wasn't it?
yeah, I think he was just then getting kind of famous, which is a big deal with the brunette hair too, because he was this blonde guy. Which if you want to see the opposite Vanderbeek as a football player, and one day we might do it when I want to rent something, a movie called Angus, where he was a quarterback, but he was a douchebag. And it was, I mean, and it's just, and it's a go figure. It's a high school coming of age movie and stuff like that. But it would be like the version of Smart Billy Bob getting tired of dumb mocks kind of movie. Uh, but you can see the MTV thumbprint all over this movie. Where you have the drinking, the drugs, the sex, the nudity, the all that kind of stuff.
Completely forgot about that nudity scene too. When it showed up, I was like, "Oh, forgot if that was in here."
I mean, it's just, I mean, the whole depiction of high school life. It's. I'm like, okay, this is not there's no real high school that is like
Mm-mm.
this at all. And
Yeah,
I just
Uh,
I feel like it would have maybe been better if it had been in like a college setting, if they wanted to have all the drinking and nudity and stuff like that, and then the whole town just be okay with it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
yeah.
but at the same time, the college setting doesn't really fit the small town vibes.
It
I mean,
doesn't.
this movie really took every single small town high school football cliche and just ratcheted up to about a 10 with literally everything. I mean, you got the cheerleader that's wanting to bang, whoever the starting quarterback is to get
hmm
out. The quarterback who's using it to get out of the town, and all the parents that are stuck in high school. I mean, it's literally just. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I enjoy it, but I mean, they take every single when it says criticism for its cliches. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but they do take literally every cliche there is and put this in the movie.
This seems like they took the book of Friday Night Lights and were trying to do an MTV version of Friday Night Lights. With the dealing with small town, dealing with the parents, dealing with the racism, dealing with the corrupt coach and all that kind of stuff, the drinking, all that kind of stuff. It literally that this seems like Timu Friday Night Lights to me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of stuff in this movie that was really kind of hard for me to swallow. Just one, being from Texas, and two, being a football coach. One was, holy cow! Tell me, I hope they didn't hire an accent coach for this movie
No.
I mean, look,
because
we've been over this. I mean, how many movies have we done this now? No, hardly anybody can do a good Southern accent.
then don't. Again, that's one of those things. Instead of going over the top with it, Billy Bob, that's fine. Billy Bob and Tweeter, let them go. Paul Walker's was and that the problem with for me is that I thought James Vanderbeek, as far as acting wise, didn't do that bad, but I had to listen to his accent, and that was god awful. But again, it was just like the two comedic kids, in Tweeter and Billy Bob. Yeah, let them be as twangy as possible, you know. But I'm like, it was just it was tough for me to walk. I mean, kind of go through this and just listen to it, just not because I'm just from Texas, but just as just watching the movie, it was tough to just sit there and listen to it.
See uh Mox or the Van Der Beek character. him. I was more okay with. I didn't really care about the accent. I mean, it was what it was. It was more that I don't look at this kid and think, yeah, man, he's from Texas. I mean, you look at him and it's like, yeah, that's somebody from the Midwest. That's somebody from like Ohio or like something like that. He just to me he wasn't cast properly. Like he did, like you said, he did a good job at the role that he was in. It just to me like he wasn't. He didn't look like somebody who would be from, wherever Texas this is, and maybe that was to kind of play into his character a little bit of, you know, everybody in this town is, all about football, and he's just like, yeah, I don't really care. I'm just doing this because my dad is making me do it, and I'm trying to go to this Ivy League school. Maybe that's why they kind of cast him like that. But to me, it wasn't really believable that he was from a Texas town. Just looking at him, everybody else, like you look at him and it's like, okay, yeah, they're like, I mean, you look at Billy Bob and Tweeter and these other guys, and you're like, yeah, they're from a, a small town in Texas. But you look at Mox and you're like, no, there's no way this guy's from Texas.
Well, that's one of those things. I think that's kind of the fish out of water type of thing too. But one thing I'm like, okay, the teenagers that came to watch this movie, do they even know that Brown is an Ivy League school? I'm like, of all the Ivy League school that you're going to choose, you're going to choose Brown? I'm like, people don't have probably never. They're like, why you go to a college that's colder for? I don't understand it. Why don't you go to Yeller or something like that? I just that again that was kind of weird that they just chose Brown. But it is what it is. But I thought it was interesting also about how bad fashion was in the late '90s when they're wearing those big old baggy jeans, and again, they did. But I mean, tuck your jersey in to these baggy pants.
Yep,
That
that
just
was the
made
way
me
it
laugh.
was.
Yeah,
Late '90s into the 2000s. I mean, it carried on for a while.
yeah.
I did notice that a lot of the players when they were playing, they didn't actually tuck their jerseys in, and it wasn't like a tight fitting jersey or anything. They just like tied it behind their back.
No,
That
well,
was
you did.
that was a '90s thing.
Yeah, you didn't tuck in jersey. Well, those jerseys were actually long. Usually,
Yeah.
most jerseys at this time were like waist length, so they
Mhm.
stopped at the belt. So you didn't
Yeah.
have them tucked. They didn't have dresses and stuff like that.
I mean, I
Again,
know
well,
nowadays they're a lot tighter fitting, and so but that's why they don't tuck them
Yeah.
in. But
The
yeah,
long jerseys was more of a 2000s thing. That's when that kind of came into
okay,
play.
yeah. It's see. I can remember in college, my last year playing football in college in '97. 96, no, 96. So that's what we had because I had to tell I played tight end. I had to tell my right tackle, tuck your shirt, tuck your jersey in because they would flag you for having that. So that was just at the cusp right then in '96 when long jerseys were up. But I mean, even when I first started coaching in '97, we had the waist length
Yeah.
jerseys. Even my jerseys, the jerseys I bought when I became a head coach out here in Alabama, I bought the waist length because I didn't want to sit there and have all this length of a jersey and things like that. And I think
Yeah,
it's
I've
ugly.
been to get ready for football. I've been watching football for like 2 weeks now, much to my wife's pure joy. She
I'm
loves it so
sure.
much. But yeah, I've been watching a bunch of '90s games. A lot of those players had. I mean, some of them were basically crop tops. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty much, if we're being
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
So
Oh, because I can remember the suntan, the tan lines that I had that bisected my gut. It went all the way around this ring around my back. That from right above my waistline, there's this brown strip around my front and my back because, well, again, we didn't wear they for some reason the undershirts they gave us shimmels were cut in half, which is really good for a fat guy like me who never even saw a 6-pack, a 4-pack, or even a 2-pack. I just walked around with a factory or a keg in my stomach, so it just didn't help any.
uh,
You couldn't
in
make that
my
look good.
in my experience with football, I mean, having played and now covered it for 10 years, it's usually the fattest guys that are most okay with showing off their bellies with their jerseys up high.
No, okay, those are
I don't know
the
how it was back when you
those
played, but
those
these
are the Billy
days,
those are the Billy Bobs. I wasn't quite Billy Bob. I mean, I was 6'4", 230 in high school. So again, I didn't have the gut to show off the gut, but I had no abs either, so it was just there. So there's nothing to show, nothing to be glorious about this round mound of rebound that you have as a stomach. You just kind of were there. Average
Uh,
Joe.
Speaking of Billy Bob, that actor reached 507 pounds, and then he had gastric bypass surgery. He flatlined on the table, and then he had to have 17 surgeries to remove all the excess fat. That's crazy.
He's passed away though.
He died at like 46 or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah,
he
it was like 10 years ago.
He was pretty young. Yeah.
Well,
So you talked about this being a football movie. So the football action. What are your thoughts on the football action?
it was pretty good. It's not the best I've seen in a movie, but it was pretty good. I would think. Not as good as Friday Night Lights. I'm trying to think. Probably better than Remember the Titans. I'm not saying it's a better movie than Remember the Titans. Don't get me wrong. Let's just get that right there. Not better, but as far as
No,
the
we're talking
football
about
action in
yeah,
it,
yeah.
probably better than Remember the Titans. I watched the program last night. I feel like probably even.
I think it's more like that. Which, again, for me, this goes to being a football snob. Is I've never seen so many people in a football game leave their feet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things where, again, I understand that I have a bias, but just watching running backs jump all the time, watching a guy jump over a block, lead with his head, and hit the quarterback, I'm just like, again, to me, that shows this is an MTV movie. It's also a late '90s movie. This is a Sports Center movie too, where everything's a highlight. And I was just like, I got tired of watching that. But that's also me as a coach that got tired of watching because
my favorite. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like Billy Bob blocking two people. You don't know. One, Billy Bob ain't getting down the field to do that.
And he ain't that first game when he was pulling and going full speed. If a man that big is moving that fast, I'm not getting in front of him. You can take the end zone for all I care.
I guess that's the different eras that we come from. That guy's not. Billy Bob's losing the kneecap. 100% Billy Bob's losing the kneecap. I'm not getting trucked. I'm not running away. I'm 100% torpedoing his shins and hitting that knee, and his knee is going to go inverted right then, right there. And again, when I played, that's 100% legal. So we doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It's not the best. My favorite football action in a movie is probably Any Given Sunday.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that is pretty good.
Of course. I mean, that's crap. What's that guy? What's that director's name? Stone.
Oh, Oliver Stone.
Yeah, that's not your typical underdog kind of kids movie type story. Which obviously this is not a kids movie.
No, it is. No, it's not.
No, it isn't.
But it's not your kind of cheesy type sports movie. That's more of like a serious director who decided to do a sports movie, so it's a little different. But yeah, that's probably the best. But before we go on to the movie, we've been going pretty long, so we need to get into it. But before we do that, I guess we need to do the elephant in the room, or in this case, the coyote, or as Dakota says, coyote, which is how they say it in this movie. Ernie, I mean, this probably doesn't mean much to you, but we had this. How long ago was it we had this discussion?
We were playing golf, so it was.
And he was saying coyote, and I'm like, it's coyote. Why are you saying coyote?
It's
and
both.
Then, that's what I came to find out that some people, especially older people, say coyote. And then I guess, it just made me think of that when we were watching it. And they were saying coyotes. I really didn't. At the time. At the time, I had never heard anybody say it any way other than coyote when I brought it up to Dakota.
I think the mascot was the Coyotes, but I think they just shortened it to Coyotes. That's what I think it was. Because again, plural.
By the way,
coyotes,
we need a high school
coyotes.
team that is the Coyotes around here. That's not a bad mascot. It's
It's
different.
a great mascot.
Yeah. We get too many tigers and eagles and
God, we have boring names in Alabama.
Red Devils and Blue Devils and
There's a purple devil too.
there's all kinds of colors of devils around here.
We're in the Bible Belt, but my goodness, we will have us a devil for mascot. But no, like I said, I've always, if they're going to consolidate schools in Lawrence County and make one high school, I've already got the solution for you. It's going to be Jesse Owens High School, and the mascot's going to be the Roadrunners. Take it to the bank. There's money in that right there.
Jesse Owens didn't even spend the majority of his time in Alabama.
It don't matter, Dakota Lowry.
He was born here. That's all that
matters.
Exactly.
He was born here and lived here for a year.
and was born here. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
We got a museum.
That's like saying
we do a cross country race that half the country comes to, even though he didn't.
Joe Wheeler. Yeah, let's go. Joe Wheeler, Confederate general. Spanish American War, got malaria, went crazy. Let's name it after him. Let's go.
Name it after Warner von Braun, the full blown Nazi who put us on the moon.
Yeah, there you go. But that's Huntsville, though. That's all them. That's them liberal city boys up there.
We have this ginormous cross country race that half the country comes to, and I mean it literally. I mean it's like 15, 20 states that come to this thing to compete, and which has always made me laugh because Jesse Owens did not run cross country.
No, he didn't.
But hey, all these people. So hey, if they want to name it Jesse Owens High School, they can name it Jesse Owens High School.
Did Native Americans run cross country? Since it's at the Oakville Indian Mounds?
I don't know.
I mean, I would think, but
I'm sure they ran across the country.
First, to get a little dark, they did run cross country once.
Oh, wow. 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 Let's go ahead and bring your Andrew Jackson impersonation out, too, and everything. Golly. We just lost a demographic right there in our podcast. Oh, my goodness, Dakota Lowry.
Hands of our listeners.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank y'all for listening.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, in the small town of West Canaan, Texas,
this
Jonathan
is where Dakota needs to be. You know, we're West Canaan, where white makes right. Woo, roll tide, let's go, son.
We don't give the black running back touchdowns in this town.
Yeah, that's no wonder Dakota had nothing bad to say about Kilmer. Golly.
I don't know. Kilmer was
he said, yeah.
Kilmer was
you get inside that 10-yard line, you put that white running back in. In the small town of West Canaan, Texas, Jonathan Moxon is an academically gifted backup quarterback for the 3A high school varsity football team, the West Canaan Coyotes. Despite his relative popularity at school, easy friendship with other players, and relationship with girlfriend Jules Harbor, Mox is dissatisfied with his life, wanting to leave Texas and attend Brown University. He constantly clashes with his football, says Father Sam, and dreads playing under legendary coach Bud Kilmer, a verbally abusive, controlling authoritarian who believes in winning at all costs.
He's just a coach.
Yeah, so I've brought this up in a lot of movies we've done, but they pretty much give you the plot here really quickly in the first 10 to 20 minutes of the movie. You got the backup quarterback who has the overbearing dad who's stuck in high school. This is the best you're ever going to be. They introduce you to all the characters in the football team really quickly, just jumping in the truck. You got Billy Bob. Was he dipping a pancake or is it toast?
Yes,
pancake.
Pancake and peanut butter.
And drinking the syrup.
Yeah.
With his pet bacon in the truck.
But can we back up just a little bit? And the opening scene and talk about the little brother who had himself tied to a cross.
The little brother's the most random character in this movie. He literally makes no sense.
I mean, this kid went through like 6 different religions, and in the end, formed his
cult leader.
Cult. Yeah, it was a cult leader.
The best part was the mom who's like okay with it. Oh, honey, did you start a cult?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
that and the dad. You kind of feel for the dad at that point. Like at the same time, like okay, you're being too overbearing. Like high school football is not the best thing in life, but at the same time, it's like just be normal. Like he's all these different religions.
I thought it was so funny that he's sitting here talking about all these different religions as if he didn't treat high school football like it was a religion.
Well, that'll preach.
Yep, there you go. But I mean, it is. It is in Texas. I mean, Ernie can contest. What is that way here in Alabama?
It's in Alabama. I think it's small town America. Period. if it's not football in small town America, it's baseball or basketball. It is sport in small town America.
Mm-hmm.
That is where you get your identity from. Is that, and if you're not that, then you're nothing, and that is wrong on so many levels, and that's why people. That's why the 30-year-old with his Letterman jacket was at the party, because he was still
He
celebrating
said,
all that.
"Class of 1980."
I'm like,
it's 1998.
and then Tweeter just hits him in the cods, that's one of the few times that Tweeter was actually, he was a horrible person, but actually was kind of funny with what he did.
I love Tweeter. Tweeter's probably my favorite character in the whole movie.
Broke my heart, so I broke her jaw. And you love Tweeter.
Wow.
I don't even remember that part.
Well, I mean, you need to listen to some of the things that Tweeter said. So
I didn't say I agree with the things he was doing. It's comedy. It's supposed to be funny. But I also just like Scott Conn. I like him in everything I've ever seen him in. So he makes me laugh. As me and Ernie were talking before the show, Ocean's 11. If you haven't seen that, he's great in that. He's pretty funny in that too.
Yeah.
But, and then we also get the coach Bud Kilmer again. I mentioned John Voight played him, but he does a great job with this. He makes you hate him, which again is the sign of a good actor because you have to hate this dude.
Is it just a thing that to be really dislikable, you wear gum out? Oh my!
I think that's just a football coach trope. Because I've seen. Look, Gus Malzahn used to do that. Gus Malzahn used to absolutely wear a piece of gum out. Double bubble is what he used, and my goodness, there's no because I've had double bubble. That flavor goes out pretty quickly.
You get lockjaw with that sucker.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I chewed gum during a game. It was orange flavored Trident, but but he did it everywhere. He was just mashing on that gum. I was like, golly, son.
Probably because he's getting over his smoking problem. This is right around the time when smoking wasn't
it was very frowned upon.
It's starting to get frowned upon.
Confused where everybody and their grandmother was doing it.
Yeah. Even the pregnant women.
Gosh. Well, Kilmer's philosophy finally takes its toll when he pushes the Coyote star quarterback Lance Harbor, Mox's best friend and Jules' older brother, into taking pain-killing shots into an injured knee. This leads Lance to injuring the knee further during a game, partly because Kilmer had forced offensive lineman Billy Bob to continue playing despite a concussion. At the hospital, the doctors, appalled at the massive amount of scar tissue found under his knee, explain that recovery will take at least a year and a half, costing Lance his football scholarship to Florida State. Now, I love that they did this because I feel like they could have gone a route where they just make Kilmer unlikable. Like, kind of like what they did with, like, Mox not like it. He's like, we run the I formation, we're a running team. Like, you may disagree with that, but if they just made that the discourse between the players and him, that they didn't agree with his game plan, I wouldn't have been okay with that being kind of the discourse there because, he's the coach. If it's not working, if it doesn't work, that's up for the administration to deal with later. But as long as he's the coach, you go with his game plan. But actually having him doing this stuff with the injuries and stuff, it makes him into the bad dude that he needed to be in this movie.
Well, he did at the very first pep rally. He did the Sig Heil salute. So, whether they did it on purpose, that's what he was straight up. That hand went up like that. I was like, I see you. You're a Nazi. I got you.
But they also, not only that, but just in the way that he talked to the kids, especially like, obviously the big thing is throughout the whole movie about Billy Bob and he was pretty verbally abusive to him, but
it's terrible.
Yeah.
I played for coaches. I got yelled at plenty of times, but I never got verbally abused like that.
Yeah, it's one thing to be yelled at and another thing to be just, hey, you fat idiot, get on like somewhere, yeah. And
I was called blue-eyed, wonder-bred white boys, but that's about as bad as I was called.
Yeah, but
what's that even mean?
I don't know. The offensive line coach, you bunch of blue-eyed, wonder-bred white boys. Said y'all are a bunch of sissies. Again, he was the one. He was also the coach that said that he got fired from his last job for hitting a kid, and if he gets fired, he'll find another job, which he would.
So he was
And
Kilmer.
no, he wasn't. I literally would run through a brick wall for the man because he never yelled. He just said it in that tone of voice. But he loved on. That's okay. So here's the difference for me between him and Kilmer. Kilmer didn't love on anybody. And that's one of those things. That's why he had. That's. I mean, if we want to get deep and philosophical about it, that's why the kids overran.
He doesn't care about the players.
No, he cares about the wins. No. You know,
there are coaches that yell nonstop, but at the same time, they still care about the players.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Kilmer's only goal is winning, and he doesn't care at what cost it comes.
Yeah, and so it's amazing what you can put up with if somebody cares about you. But it's obvious that Kilmer doesn't care about anybody, and you can look at that from how he treats the dads, how he treats Lance, how he treats Billy Bob, how he treats the running back too. I mean, it's just, and then of course Mox too. It's but they do a good job of. There's not a redeeming value in Kilmer at all for you to remotely like. There's nothing. I can't think of anything that made me go, oh, yeah, Kilmer's he's got some goodness in him. No, he doesn't.
No. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, yeah, I agree with some of the stuff like, hey, you shouldn't be changing play calls just because you don't agree with that. But at the same time, there's nothing, I don't agree with him as a coach. I mean, he's a terrible person.
Yeah, but this scene right here also gives you the one moment where it's kind of like, I understand why they're so upset, because you can see that the parents now aren't upset, like, because, we're going to lose this season, but you see the parents, and I think this is where you really get that hate for Kilmer kind of starts, because the parents are like, oh, he's losing his scholarship. He's losing his free ride to college, his chance out of here. And Kilmer's just like, oh, okay, well, I just lost my district championship. And I think this is where you first see that, oh, he truly doesn't care about anything in this scene.
God, when he comes out, the doctor comes out, he's just had massive surgery, and they're like, how long's he out? I want to go back though. I did want to mention this because the whole pep rally thing with the players giving speeches, this made me chuckle because I've been in those pep rallies where the players give those speeches. You'd be surprised how similar those speeches that they gave are to what real players give.
What was it that he said? I had a dream that we were winning 14-3, and I woke up
sad. Bangville against Bangville.
Bangville, yeah. Not Bingville, Bangville.
Hey, look. Okay, we can make fun of their accents. I get that, but I used to go to church in Double Springs in Winston County, and if you said Double Springs instead of Double Springs, they would correct you. So, I mean, it can be pretty accurate.
Well, I did see a comedian the other day. They were in Huntsville, whatever, and they said, so what's another town that nobody likes around here? And they said, Arab. And it's like, everybody's like, I'm pretty sure that's pronounced Arab or Arab.
Not in Alabama, it's not.
Well,
not in Alabama.
So again, you just say, what city did you say before Arab?
Huntsville.
In Texas, it's Huntsville. That's one of those. It's the same exact spelling and everything like that. And now since I moved to Alabama, I say Huntsville. Even the Texas, I say Huntsville. I say the Ville fast, and that's the great thing about different locations and different things. Like around here, it's Hutto. There's a city, Hutto, Hutto, the Hutto Hippos. Yes, that's a great mascot, by the way. And that's the great thing about English language.
No, I would not want to beat the Hippos.
Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, the Hutto Tigers.
No,
I'm not saying the Tigers was any better. That's just the Hippos.
Okay, just because something's unique doesn't mean it's good. Now, I agree.
It's better than being Tigers, Bulldogs, or Eagles.
Yellow Jackets.
No, I would rather be any of those than the Hippos.
Heck no.
Now, the Roadrunners, you said I would be fine with the Rhinos. I was thinking about that today. I'm surprised there's no rhinos around here. But
What about
hippos,
what about the cowpunchers? The Mason
what?
cowpunchers. Mason cowpunchers in Mason,
Oh,
Texas. They play in an old rodeo
What the
arena.
heck is a cow puncher?
It's a
You
cowboy.
talking about
That's what
like
they. That's
they
what
just
that like.
punch cows?
No, that's what they round them up and they take them on cattle drives. The cowpuncher. That's that. But again, their stadium was an old rodeo arena that they transformed into a football stadium. See, y'all
And
get some.
the best rodeo themed mascot they could come up with was the cow punchers.
Yeah, it was
Well,
no.
but it's not the
Again,
Cowboys.
that's not.
I mean,
It's not a.
saying the Cowboys. It's just a more local.
Yeah,
term.
it's a better way to say Cowboys than just say it's different. I'm sorry. Again, you go back with your vanilla ice cream mascots that you love.
Wasn't
I
I
saying that they're any good?
Yes.
It's not we're saying that they're
Wasn't
good.
I the one that brought
different.
up the fact that we have
Different. Well, yeah, but
vanilla
I give you different.
mascots?
Oh God, that's awful. Just because it's awful doesn't mean it's not
Again,
good. It's good.
okay. Just because something's unique doesn't mean it's good. That can still be a stupid nickname just because it's unique.
No, that's like the
Huntsville
Ichabods.
Mice.
I forget what college is the Ichabods. That's good. Anything that's different.
The Ichabods?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what?
I'll have to look that up and explain to you what it is again, or who it was.
Ichabod Crane?
It might have something to do with that.
Yeah, I know who Ichabod Crane is. That doesn't.
That's about the same as the Fighting Irish.
That's a great nickname.
I'm not saying it's not a good nickname, but it's like, what is it? Or a Buckeye? What's a Buckeye?
It's a nut.
Yeah. Not only is it the Fighting Irish, they also have this humongous statue called Touchdown Jesus. Or it's not a statue, it's a mural. You never seen Touchdown Jesus?
I'm not that invested in Notre Dame, I'll be honest with you. The other one is the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers?
That's Hilltoppers. I like that. I like that.
With the big red blob as the mascot.
What's a Hilltopper? Yeah, what's a Hilltopper?
It's on the again, it's like a mountaineer or something like that. It's just it's on top of a hill. I mean that's
okay. Well, back to this movie.
Well, Mox, who has accompanied Lance, is shocked when Kilmer denies his role in Lance's injury, when in fact he ordered the trainer to provide the painkillers. Needing a new quarterback, Kilmer reluctantly names Mox to replace Lance as team captain and starting quarterback, which brings unexpected dividends for Mox. Wanting to marry someone leaving West Canaan in order to escape small-town life, Darcy Sears, Lance's cheerleader girlfriend, shows sexual interest in Mox and attempts to seduce him with a whipped cream bikini over her otherwise naked body, but he gently rebuffs her, telling her that she can independently escape West Canaan. Man, Darcy didn't let that body get cold.
Sure didn't. Wow.
That was after the washing machine incident at the first party too with Lance, and she's like, "Hey, I need a cash cow. I got to find me a cash cow to get out of this town."
But the crazy thing is, she doesn't even know what Mox is gonna do or anything. So this is the new quarterback. I guess this is the only thing I know how to do is hitch my ride to the quarterback.
Yeah, let's go. Trying to go to Brown.
Brings up the question of was him and that other Jules, were they dating?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they've been kissing, so I assume so.
I mean, I kind of assumed that too, but isn't there a moment in there where it says something about them like he wasn't even sure what they really were?
Yeah, well, he's talking to himself as he's trying to buy condoms. He's trying to talk himself into this is okay. I mean, again, very high school boy like,
Yeah. But that was one of the things that I was.
While he's got his brother there, I forgot what religion his brother was in.
He was Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum, my brother. He was Farrakhan, which was Louis Farrakhan, which made me laugh. That again, there are parts of the brother that truly made me just laugh. Like, this is so stupid, it's funny.
But man, he gives her that ride back from the hospital, and she's
ready to go.
I look. At least she took initiative. You got to give her credit, right?
Well, that sounds like it's her MO. because that's what the sister said. That's how she got her brother.
I like the fact that she said it's not even about love between me and Lance. Like, it's just about getting out of here. I'm sitting there like, okay, well, how do you know he was going to take you? Do you have a full ride to Florida State?
Yeah, just
because it doesn't sound like your parents are going to pay for you to go to Florida State. Which, by the way, at that time, being a quarterback recruit for Florida State meant you were pretty dang good. Just going to go and say that.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Which, granted, getting recruited to Florida State means you're pretty good regardless, but especially at that time.
Yeah.
Well, disgusted with Kilmer and not strongly needing to win, Mark starts calling his own plays on the field without Kilmer's approval and also organizes an all-night drinking party with his close friends on the team at a local strip club the night before a game. Fed up with the pressure from Sam, Mox chides him. Sam had been a football player at West Canaan, and although Kilmer dismisses him for lacking talent and courage, Sam still respected and obeyed him. When Kilmer discovers that Mox has won a full academic scholarship to Brown, he threatens to alter Mox's transcripts to endanger his scholarship unless he falls in line. I don't even know how a football coach would be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah. I don't know if could anybody do that? Really?
Yeah,
I guess somebody could, but this small town football coach does not seem like the guy that would be able to do that.
Shoot, I don't
There's
know
some
about
plot
that.
holes in that one right there.
There are.
To be fair, though, he does kind of have a little bit of power because when they're sitting there in the bar or something, and the sheriff
he tells the cop, like, you got a problem with my boys?
Yeah,
Dude stole a police car and went cruising naked in it with 3 naked chicks, and the coach is like, you got a problem here?
He was also drunk while he was doing it too.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Tweeter was drunk the entire movie.
That is true. Yeah. Or high, or both.
There's also an overwhelming just okayness with underage drinking in this town.
Oh yeah.
And then letting a bunch of high schoolers go to a strip club.
An okayness with underage drinking, or an okayness with high school football players underage drinking?
Yeah, that's like when Mox becomes the quarterback. He has a Coke in his hand, and the guy pulls out a 6-pack, which, I'm sorry, he pulled it out from underneath the counter, which means that's rodeo beer. That means it's hot. And Mox is just drinking it. I'm like going, bleh. I was like, oh, goodness gracious, that's bad.
He's just walking around town drinking beer.
Yeah, just chilling.
I did love his interview that he gave after the game. It just made me laugh again because as a reporter, I've been on part of some of the interviews where the players give like these most generic answers.
Yeah, like I didn't understand why the sister was disappointed in his answers. I'm like, to me, that was probably the most neutral answers you can get. Which to me,
yeah, I didn't much like the sister just because like. She just now okay. I get obviously when she sees Darcy kiss him. That obviously that's a reason to be mad. Yeah. That's different. Yes. But she was being kind of a jerk before that. Like she just instantly assumed that as soon as he became the quarterback, like that's a problem.
Yeah. Oh, you've changed so much.
And that was one of the things that I didn't really understand that she said was that she said she didn't date football players, but. Even though he was
like, I was already a football player. But she basically told him, no, you weren't. You were sitting the bench.
Yeah, like.
But then you actually became a football player. Now I can't date you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. The sister didn't make much sense throughout the movie.
No.
But this is also where we got the strip club scene. You talk about not an accurate depiction of high school life. I don't care how much this high school football team rules the roost in this town. These kids are not going into a strip club and partying all night, drinking, and it's just going to be okay. Although it is funny when you see in their teacher.
Yeah,
and then the next day, Billy Bob's like, "Can you go to prom with me?"
Yeah, I think that was one of the funnier moments that actually made me laugh when he's just doe-eyed looking at her in the hallway.
Poor Billy Bob had the concussion.
I'm about to say he had great moves as a stripper too.
Hey, it was like that Chippendales. well, Kilmer's disregard for players continues, resulting in Billy Bob's dramatic mental collapse. When star running back Wendell Brown, another friend of Mox, is injured in the district title game, Kilmer persuades him to take a shot of cortisone to deaden the pain in his knee, allowing Wendell to continue at risk of a more serious and perhaps even permanent injury. Desperate to be recruited by a good college, Wendell almost consents when Mox intervenes and tells Kilmer he will quit if the procedure continues. Undaunted, Kilmer orders wide receiver Charlie Tweeter, a friend of both Mox and Wendell, to replace Mox, but Tweeter refuses. Mox tells Kilmer that the team will only return to the field without him.
Now, it's one of those things like the knee injury with the shots. If it's one of those things where you think you can play and it can't get worse, okay, I can understand that. Now, this kid, it sounded like he popped a hamstring. I don't care what kind of cortisone you shoot up in the hamstring. You pull it, you ain't doing nothing anyways. But
I don't know, man. Look, I'll say this.
I've seen knee injuries where people have waited to see if you could move, if you could run or do anything. You go mainly it was if you could go side to side, and so they just kind of went with it. But, again, I'm not saying that's right or anything like that, but with Lance, I can understand it more, but with the running back, no, that you ain't going to shoot up a running back's hamstring and say, go.
No, I don't know. But again, I mean, high school kids, should be taking shots of any kind in their knees during a game. If you college, NFL, look, it is what it is. You're a grown adult. You can make those decisions. But high school,
as being as impressionable as they are.
Yeah, they just need steroids and stuff like that. That's all they need to be able to shoot up on.
This is 1999. This is right in the smack dab in the middle of the steroid era of Major League Baseball.
Yeah. You did watch the program, didn't you, after this?
Yes. Oh, I did. And not only that, but I skipped that scene. You know the scene I'm talking about.
Yes.
Callie was on the couch. She was like, "Why are you skipping that?" And I'm like, "I'm not watching this." So.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Kilmer's disregard for players. Oh, I've already read that paragraph. Realizing that he will be forced to forfeit the game, and angry Kilmer physically assaults Mox, but the other players intercede and they refuse to take the field. Knowing his outburst has cost him his credibility, Kilmer tries unsuccessfully to rally support and spark the team's spirit into trusting him, but none of the players follow him out of the locker room. Kilmer continues down the hall and seeing no one following him, then turns in the other direction into his office where he begins placing things inside boxes, effectively tendering his resignation. Using a 5-receiver offense in the second half, the Coyotes proceed to win the game and the district championship without Kilmer's guidance, thanks largely to Lance calling the plays from the sideline and Billy Bob scoring the game-winning touchdown on a hook and ladder play. Yeah. I can enjoy this football movie action for what it is, even though it is the most unrealistic football action I've ever seen. First, I do have to say, Kilmer unsuccessfully trying to rally his team is I don't know. I don't know if it's funny, but it's just something like just seeing him lose all that trust in the players, and then he's like, "Let's go, clap your hands. Let me just walk out. Let's go, guys. Let's go."
Where did all the assistant coaches go? Because the assistant coaches didn't follow him, and the assistant coaches didn't make it on the sideline. The assistant coaches were, where did they go?
Yeah, there wasn't anybody out there, actually.
I don't know.
You mentioned that, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
well, that's like Billy Bob calling Coach Lance, too. What are we going to run, Coach Lance? I'm like, oh, God, Billy Bob, don't just call him Coach Lance right there.
This is, look, I guess we have to give Lance a redeeming quality, and we have to give Paul Walker some screen time here. But let's say something does happen to a coach. Your player is not taking over coaching duties.
No.
In the game. That's not happening.
And who's he talking? He's got a headset on. I want to know who he's talking to also.
Well, did he ever put the headset on? It was staying on his neck the entire time.
I thought I saw it a couple times with it.
And far be it to what people think. I always think it's funny when people are like, "Oh, Tennessee should hire Peyton Manning because he's really smart." You may think you know football, but knowing football and going and coaching is two completely different things. So I'm glad he found calling and coaching, but him going out here, I thought it was going to be funny the first time I saw it because they come out, it almost seems like they're going to be like doing really bad. Like, hey, well, that's what happens when you have a injured player coaching your team. But then of course we have to have the comeback though. So we get the player calling the plays, although he doesn't actually call the plays because Mox is calling the plays because he says, I'm going to do hurry up and I'm going to call all the plays from the, and we're going to, I'm assuming they have these plays in the playbook because it's not like they could just come out and, which I guess he was technically telling him, he's like, you run this route and you run this route.
Well, they never practiced any of this because every time they tried to practice it, Kilmer literally killed it. So, I mean, they must have had some special, like, Little League practice that they had without Kilmer.
To go back, I mean, Kilmer is a douchebag, but don't get me wrong, but the dude has won 22 district championships and 2 state championships, so I think he might know what he's talking about when it comes to coaching football.
I mean, to be fair, he had a pretty decent game plan, like come out and run the ball, run the clock down, chew the clock the entire time and keep the ball out of their hands.
It was working until the running back got hurt,
Yeah, it was a good game plan.
I feel like a lot of high school teams, or even college and pro at this time in the 80s and 90s, a lot of good ones had good teams that were going good until their running back got hurt. Mm-hmm. These days it's the quarterback. Back then it was the running back.
Which I think that was the more unrealistic thing about it was that you're telling me that there's going to be a 18-year-old high school kid who's going to be able to outcall a coach who like a grown man who has led his team to district, the district championship. Like, I think that was the more unrealistic thing. But don't get me wrong, I know that they probably played for or prepared for a running offense, and then you get a passing offense at the end, but still.
So the other team cracked me up the entire time. Just whether it was them dancing and all that and celebrating, like you could tell they just like got some extras and told them to do the absolute dumbest thing they could think of. But then when they were when they were trying to keep up with the new passing offense, watching the coaches and stuff try to it was pretty. The other team was pretty hilarious. I enjoyed watching them.
Which that coach deserves to get fired, huh?
What was it the announcer said?
I don't know.
We don't need all that. We don't need all that hooly gooly down here on the field or something like that.
Which again, I mean, back in those days, because you would have that kind of stuff with like like Miami back in the day, doing all that kind of dancing and stuff, and it was very frowned upon back then. Whereas these days, obviously, celebrating and dancing is more common.
No. Well, I had my hat on backwards my first year coaching. That same defense coordinator said, "Son, we don't wear our hats backwards. We aren't gangsters." And I was like, "Gangsters?" Because I'm wearing my hat. Have you not seen Ken Griffey Jr. at all? You old man. Oh, anyways, that's neither here nor there. But how about this other sideline coaching staff? I mean, you literally got out coached by a gimp that hadn't played and a backup quarterback, and you didn't call timeout. I mean, when they're running no huddle. I mean, I'm hoping you had no timeouts left. That you just call timeout and say, "Okay, this is what these idiots are doing. Let's see. This is what we want to try." I mean,
Well,
that guy should be fired.
This is a team that obviously they were just an okay team in 4A and they dropped down to 3A, so they're much better than. That's apparently what we're led to believe here.
That's how it works,
Oh, and then the hook and ladder play.
That's so painful.
You're not hook and laddering to this ginormously fat offensive lineman and running in for a touchdown. That's not working.
Well, first of all,
I've only ever seen one hook and ladder.
The blocked punt first that Billy Bob has to come into and all he does is eat blocks. I'm like,
it's stupid. I understand that, but watching this to the tune of My Hero is perfectly football cinema. I enjoyed every bit of it. The song was perfect. Watching Billy Bob run through those guys and then Tweeter block the punt, it as stupid as it may be, I thought I had a heck of a lot of fun watching it. But yes, hook and ladder. I've only ever seen one hook and ladder play work ever.
Yeah.
And it was definitely not to an offensive lineman.
No, never. Especially one that's got 97 concussions.
In a voiceover epilogue, Mox recounts several characters' aftermaths. Kilmer left town and never coached again, but his statue still remained due to his weight after the game. Tweeter drank beer and Billy Bob cried in celebration. Lance became a successful football coach. Wendell received a football scholarship to Grambling State, and Mox went on to attend Brown on an academic scholarship. Yeah, if you won 2 state, if you have a statue, it's probably going to take a lot more than that to get removed. Just resigning is not going to get removed, but and also I feel like if you're being recruited by Grambling State, an extra touchdown is not going to be the deal breaker there.
No.
Or really, if you're being recruited anywhere, an extra touchdown is not going to be the deal breaker there.
No.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the movie. I feel like we rushed through some parts, but that was because we took a long time talking about some things. So
about things that weren't the movie.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. All right, guys, anything to add before we move on to the rankings?
Nope.
All right, I guess I'll go first since this was my movie. Again, this is not some masterpiece of cinema. I mean, it says Varsity Blues has gone on to be a cult film. Again, Dakota loves to talk about what are cult films. I think this perfectly goes into a cult film. This goes into a cult film, whereas Major League, I think, is a movie that a lot of people like. So this is actually a cult film, but I enjoy it, but I also love footballs, and I can't really think of any football movie I've ever watched that I didn't like on some level, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, it is what it is. But I enjoyed it overall. I thought John Voight was really good as that character and making you hate him. Again, it has all the old cliches of small town football, and sometimes I hate that because I feel like people view high school football as either like once you're out of it, you're either like too cool to support your school, to support the team or your town, or you're so stuck into it that you can't live any part else of your life. That's the best thing. That I feel like these kind of movies make people view that like that's the only two parts of supporting a high school football team that you got. So I hate that sometimes, but at the same time, the cliches are fun to laugh at it as too. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to ramble on too much longer. It's a fun movie. I'll give it a 7.75.
Go ahead, Ferg.
I did not like this movie at all. The accents, the not even close to being football accurate. Again, I come in with a lot of biases into this movie, but there wasn't. Vanderbeek was decent, but again, his accent killed me. Voight did a pretty decent job of being dislikable. I just, I didn't. This didn't do anything for me whatsoever. Again, it's meh for me. It is an MTV version of football. So again, I didn't particularly care for it. So I'm giving it a 6.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it was a good movie. And it's like, and I think Sugg said at the beginning of the podcast, and even just now, that it's overly cliche about a lot of things. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's some people's things and it's some people's not. I think historically on this podcast, it has showed that I'm not a big like sports cliche type of guy, and so this really isn't my type of movie. I didn't really enjoy it that much. Not saying that it's a bad movie. I mean, I could see why some people would like it, and some people would sit down and just have that mindless enjoyment of it. It's not my type of movie. That being said, though, I can recognize, and at least acknowledge why other people would do that. And so I think for myself, I'm going to give this a 7.
Wow, that really surprises me.
I mean, like I said, it's not objectively sitting this myself as far as like my actual enjoyment of it. I'm probably never going to watch this movie again willingly. I didn't really care for it. You know,
it just surprised me that you did it that high, just because I didn't think you would like it at all. But again,
he gave it the best friend bump.
But I mean, it's just it's not that I didn't enjoy the movie. I mean, I did enjoy watching the whole. I mean, there's some of the whole the comeback story, the whole like the underdog type of theme and everything. And it's not that I didn't like it. It's just it's not my favorite thing. But I've seen much worse movies, and I would definitely
yes, we have.
Yeah, and I would definitely pick this over some of the other movies we've watched.
All right. Well, that's a 7.75 for me, a 7 from Dakota, and a 6 from Ernie. That averages out to a 6.92. Ernie, where does that put us on our rankings?
That ties us, I believe, at 51 with Moonstruck and Superman.
All right. So there you go. And if you would like to see that full rankings list, you can go to our website, podpage.com/classicblockbusters. That's podpage.com/classicblockbusters. You can find our full rankings list on there. You can find our individual scores that we give the movies, as well as which movies we've individually picked. Also, of course, you can find our movie episodes on there. Ernie does that website for us, and we appreciate that, especially me, because I don't have to do it. And you can find us also on social media, on Facebook, Blockbusters, a classic movie podcast, or on Twitter/X at Podpage. No, Podpage is the website. Hold on. at Blockbuster Pod 1. That's our Twitter/X account.
There you go. You got it.
And hey, it's a lot of stuff to remember.
That's why I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah, kudos to you.
We're streaming with a new episode every Thursday on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. And that's it, right? Anything else?
So.
We appreciate everybody that's been listening. Our last 3 episodes have really been the average our average listeners have really jumped up the last 3 episodes. So we appreciate the support. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, obviously not like ginormous numbers, but we appreciate literally every single person that listens to it. So
for us, it is.
Yes, for us, it's a big deal. So
I know we joke about tens of listeners, but that's tens.
Well,
of listeners.
Now we're doing about 20s of listeners.
Hi, look at that.
Look at us.
And then our Jaws episode, our 50th anniversary episode, really has gotten up in there. It's like now our second most listened episode, I think. Wow. Behind Die Hard.
Man.
And then, I don't know. It was right around the same as our debut episode, which I don't have a problem with Jaws because our debut episode we didn't have Ernie on it. So, but it was also.
We were trying to figure stuff out though. We can have
and sound wise, it didn't sound the best. It's not the best. But anyways,
there's always growing pains.
Yeah, see where you're coming from. That's what we'll say. But anyways, we do appreciate everybody that's been listening. Dakota, it is your pick. Next, me and Ernie have absolutely no idea because I have not. I've been busy, so I haven't even. I usually ask Dakota to try to get a vibe from him, but I have not even asked, so I have no idea.
So today was the day that I had to decide about this, and today was the only day that I've had time to think about what I was doing. It has felt like fall this week, so I wanted to do a fall movie. And this movie, honestly, is probably a lot like the last movie that I picked, and that's perfectly okay, I guess. We're going to watch
the last movie you picked.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Was it the Joe Pesci movie?
With honors.
With honors, okay.
Yeah.
Bro, if you pick another movie that's going to make me cry, you two can do the episode by yourself next week.
I don't want emotions.
You've got to record. Okay.
I'm teaching you how to do it.
Sissy.
So I wanted a fall movie, so we're going to go with Good Will Hunting.
I've never seen this.
I haven't either, and it's been on my watch list.
That's the Robin Williams movie, right?
Robin Williams, Matt Damon.
Wait, isn't this a sad movie?
I don't know. It's been recommended to me by other people, and it's been on my list to watch, and I want to watch it. It's a fall movie. It feels like fall outside, so I kind of just want to watch it.
Gosh, if this is another Dead Poet Society,
I don't know what it is. Something about a janitor and MIT.
Just watch it. Just watch it.
Well, Ernie's not reassuring me that it's not sad, so I don't.
I'm not going to give anything away for either one of y'all. So you come to the wrong person for that.
All right. Well, Goodwill Hunting. That's what we'll do next week. Happy football season. May not mean as much to Dakota or Ernie as it does to me. I'm so glad it's here, though.
Shoot, I love football season.
I know you do. No, I mean, look, you can ask my wife. It's been bad. I've been watching football for about a month now. My wife's
watching
probably
Canadian Football League.
No. I don't go that far. I just watch a bunch of old games. Games from before I was born, when Ernie was like 37.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But my wife's already sick of it. We haven't even actually started yet, so I'm sure she'll be very sick of it when we get into like November and December.
Look, you say that, but I did tell somebody no for plans this weekend because I was like, it's the opening day of college football. Like,
it's Lee Corso's good swan song.
My boy. And that'll probably be the first time I've watched game day in like 4 years.
Yeah.
Just because of that. But anyways, all right, we're not going to drag this on any longer. We appreciate everybody that's listened. Please check out our episode next week. And Ernie will say something funny now to close us out.
We'll see you at the movies. That's not funny.